begin to become biased by sentimental because we're hungry, we want everything free, then we want to get those community in
quickly,
trouble.
30 seconds, Nehemiah. What are the way forward? What issues can take us to the permanent site as regarding growth in 30 seconds?
We cannot talk about food sufficiency.
No, I'm not talking about food
And not
sufficiency.
yes, it's part of it's part
Okay.
of it. We cannot talk about food sufficiency and not, look at the issue of insecurity. Now, the rate of people going to farms, how has it increased in the past 5 years, 6 years that we've had, this rate of insecurity?
Yeah.
Now, at least we've talked to one or two people, why are we having, you normally supply like 100 bags of these particular crops. What happened? Why is it reducing to like 50? Why is it reducing to like 30? And they will tell you, man, we can't go to those places again the way we go to those places to farm in those days. I've had friends who have gone into agriculture and they are counting losses due to insecurity. They are facing it a lot due to insecurity. You can't talk about food sufficiency without the government needs to come out, and really tackle, because it's like we are just hearing news about, it's like they're just paying lip service to all these issues.
Yeah,
And
don't say
the next morning is like you keep asking the question,
the other
what
time
is
you
the
heard,
government
you
really
hear
say
government,
they are doing?
sorry.
All right, that was just to round off. We have to
Don't
move
say
to
we
the
pay
second-
lip service,
we
that's
have
what I'm
to move
saying.
to the-
This government is
No,
working
I think
hard.
that's just his opinion.
I know, but
about
I
the
just
matter.
want him to know that look at where government is working.
Well,
Look at the Boko Haram, look at the bandit commanders and so on and so forth. Look at the military bombing. We are bombing ourselves in the north. You say we are not working.
Topic now. And yes, on the 1st of October, Independence Day, many persons, young and old alike, hit the streets in protesting against the harsh conditions of living in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. From Lagos to Abuja and a couple of other cities, young persons and old alike came out to march against hunger, came to march against the harsh realities that this economy has brought upon the people. Some of us were there to cover some of these events. Us journalists, of course, covering the events here in Lagos, some of our colleagues in Abuja and in other places. And of course, the president addressed us as well, said a couple of things, said his government was winning the war against insecurity, said they've paid, this government, of course, via the CBN, have paid $7 billion in dollars as debts, of course, left by the Emefiele and the Buhari, the Emefiele-led CBN.
Foreign exchange debt.
Foreign exchange debt left by the Buhari government, of course, like I said earlier, the Emefiele-led CBN, and a host of other things. But many persons have looked at that speech, they have analyzed it, they have dissected it, and they have various opinions about what the president said. I think we should start from the president's speech before we go into the protest, and if the protest really did do anything. Did they really send a message? We didn't have too many persons out there on the streets. Low turnout was one of the characteristics of that protest. I think I should start with Nehemiah this time around. Nehemiah, the president spoke about 18 minutes plus, and he said quite a lot, of course. What's your opinion about the president's speech?
40 paragraphs.
Yes, 40 paragraphs, 18 minutes,
of article.
and he was standing. What's your opinion about the president's speech on Monday?
I will commend our president.
I think it was Tuesday.
I will commend our president for standing that
long.
for the whole time,
And not to ballet.
and showing Nigerians that he is fit to stand, and say some things. But I picked out something from the speech.
Yeah.
Sorry, the president said that he has cleared, that his government has cleared the 30 trillion ways and means. And but if you go to, if you check the records and you see that that's not the true picture of the issue. So this is what I see. It comes back to what I said in the first topic about government being honest with Nigerians and not modeling things up and the rest of them. See, yes, he gave his speech, and a lot of Nigerians were disappointed.
Somebody said it was empty.
A lot of Nigerians were disappointed.
We expected
the
things,
the things that Nigerians were expecting to hear from the president. They didn't hear it. You find somebody asking you, what did he say? What's still the price of petroleum? What's still the price of PMS? Please, how much is Gary? How much is this? How much is that? Was there any announcement, to really tackle these things, and we'll see change maybe in the next, maybe before December, we are going to see change. Everybody was just disappointed because we were expecting to see, to hear words of, true hope. Words of true hope.
Renewed hope.
And instead of those words renewing our hope, I get those words made us disappointed.
Youth confirm. And young persons will be coming together to deliberate, and young people constitute about 60% plus of the entire country. So there's a reason for them to come around, deliberate, talk about issues, and then give their own ideas about some of these matters that they talk about on social media, where they're always very vibrant. If you have a vibrant group of people, why not bring them closer? Let's hear from them. What's your opinion about the youth confab?
Well, I just hope I'm waiting to see how, they said selected youths.
Yes.
I'm waiting to see how the selection process. I'm waiting to see how the selection process.
I don't be John,
let me hold you there.
John.
No, you have brought a terminology. Do you think? Okay, I think everybody knows what.
Haven't said that.
No. Do you think? Okay, so let's start from John point.
The president's speech is a speech of hope and achievement. Now, and he quite said it was clear, like, look, we cannot continue with the mistake of the past. I quote him. Yeah, agreed. So he's bringing that in now. Okay, you youths are always doing this lamentation and this protest and so on. Okay, come sit down and let's do this discussion.
Do you think it's a John approach?
Well,
like you said?
If he means well, and those go there, it's like when they did the confab, national confab.
Nothing came out of it.
So, but it was supposed to be a good thing. It was a result, and after that, and we didn't implement, and so on. We made we made a mockery of it. But if it is done well, and we see it as a means of, like, look, bringing the government close to the people, and the people too having a say, the future having a say in the future. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Having a say in the future.
If a president says,
so as they sit down to discuss, they discuss reality, the present, the past, and the future. Like, look, how are we going forward? That's why I say it's a speech of hope and achievement. That, look, okay, let's come together, let's talk, so that you can ask the government question, ask them critical question, know how the thing is being rolled, and know what is rolling. So how you are going to plan to roll again into the future, because these people will leave it for these people, and these people will have to carry the banner and hope to the next. So it's a good one. That, look, okay, it's going to be so. It's a good one. Is the result.
You don't think it's food for the boys?
Well, who are the boys?
You don't think it's food for the
because even these boys too are part of this country. So if you say it's the boy is the part of the country.
By boys,
so you need,
people who have cronies.
So when they
who have been loyal to some stakeholders, and
that's why I said why I said I'm interested in the selection process.
So before let's even say, is it good or not?
Is it good or not?
Of course, a youth confab is a very fantastic idea.
Now let's wait. Don't let us begin to kill it before it.
No. Nobody. I don't think
it's a good one. I don't think. That's what we're saying. Now it's a good one.
I don't
when
think
they
anybody
meet
is
and they start discussion, are they discussing well,
now,
or they are not discussing well?
Okay. I don't think anybody is killing it. Now, if you look at the manifesto of Bola Ahmed Tinubu while he was campaigning. If you read the manifesto, at least I read the manifesto and I saw some fantastic ideas. But what about the implementation? So it's not about putting these things together. It's about the implementation. That's why I said I am interested in the process of how youth representatives comes up, to represent one locality or the other. Now, going forward, I'm also interested in hearing what will be discussed and how everything is going to get fixed. Now, the president said something about, changing things from the old ways. But if you look at things critically, things still remain the way they are, even worse. Now, I don't think any of us take time to look at the budget. If you read through Nigeria's budget, you will shed tears. You will shed tears. Everything is still happening. An agency will submit a budget of about 12 billion to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly will return about 100 and something billion.
Perhaps the National Assembly felt what they brought in was too small for the great works that they want to do.
When you look at it, is it the National Assembly that is... The truth is it the National Assembly that is going to determine what an agency...
The committees can come together and say, look at this fantastic agency. Look at their scope. Look at what they're supposed to be doing. Perhaps they think we don't have what we can give them to make things work. We know they are a great agency. They should be doing a great job. Let's give them this amount for the sake of the Nigerian people. You don't think that's how they are thinking?
I don't think so.
So how do you think they are thinking?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because when you put out a budget,
What is the budget?
You know exactly.
It's the financial framework. So is it supposed to be achievable or not achievable?
It's supposed to be achievable.
It's not all that is achievable. It's not all. Why? You remove some, you return some.
Yes.
You remove some, you return some.
Let's dwell on the speech. Let's dwell on this man.
My point to him now is, if they are doing this, it's supposed to be for the sake of the people. So why do you have anything to confirm that it's not for the people? Or do you think there's something going on?
Yeah, we have had over the years. We have had things being budgeted for. Things being budgeted for. They send budget to every year. These ministries, these agencies, they send budget to the National Assembly, and budgets are being returned. And what we find out is what these budgets are meant for. You still have it there every year.
It never gets removed.
It never gets removed.
It's more like they just change the date.
That's exactly what happens.
All right, let's talk about the protest. Low turnout in Lagos and Abuja. In Abuja, what's it called now? Police shoot tear gas. In Lagos, peaceful protest up until up until Ganifa Park or Jota, where
Freedom Park.
Some Freedom Park or Jota, where some protesters with, I think, green caps, something about independence, were locked in that park. So the protesters, the original protesters, the ones that we covered coming from Ikeja, came to Ojota, and then going closer, me for one and colleagues were not allowed into that place. They were being guarded by members of the Nigerian police force.
Good.
And then we saw that those persons that were there were different kind of protesters.
They were having independence fun. They were enjoying themselves.
Those guys
so they were not protesting.
We saw were counter-protesters to the guys who were there. And in 4 minutes, in 4-5 minutes, the guys who came they were protesting from Ikeja Under Bridge and came to Freedom Park, eloped. Because you could sense that the police was there and they were probably just, waiting for tensions to get to the highest. Because there were a group of persons in that place. Of course, nobody is saying that they don't have the right to be there. But the words they were using, saying in a couple of minutes, hell will be let loose, you all will go back to your various homes, the reasons why you are here, we will see it. And in Abuja, there was use of force. So even in Lagos that looked peaceful, it was supposed to, there was some violent tendencies going on. So, are we saying Nigerians can't come out to protest? But I think we should start from the fact that there was a low turnout. Are Nigerians disinterested in protesting? Have Nigerians resigned to their fate?
I don't want to say the protest was not a success. Every time there's a protest, it's a success because you've made your point known.
Yeah.
You've cried and it has been listened to. It's now what they are going to do to that cry that's left. Now, low turnout, no low turnout, we all know there was a protest.
Yeah.
So the essence of the protest was achieved. Now, for those, it was an Independence Day, so you have different version of people around. Those who are enjoying the nation and want to celebrate it, and those who are against what they don't want, and because those protesters are also enjoying the nation. They just want it to be better. So I don't think Nigerians are disenchanted about protesting. I think that maybe they are just a bit scared. That look, okay, we don't want to get caught up in crossfires, whereby, because there'll be two versions, those who want the protest and those who don't want the protest. And like you said, if those two clash, so a lot of us will just stay back at home and watch things happen.
Nehemiah, the state of social media is different from the state of reality.
I know.
Because the number of people who complain online, I mean, we didn't see the same formula out there. Not too many persons were out there.
Yeah.
I mean, are people tired of protesting? And then the violence in Abuja, the tear gas, even police shooting tear gas at journalists and all that. I mean, what's going on?
No, I think people are just being cautious this time, knowing that knowing the kind of the force that we have in this country. People can't, protest, freely, without threats of don't do this, don't go here. Even the people that we know that they want to protest peacefully, don't go here, don't go there, stay here. And the most annoying part of this whole scenario is you having some kind of people, looking like thugs, threatening peaceful protesters. We don't want you to protest here, and you have the police standing and not cautioning them and watching them until you blew off their head and they start one or two crises at the other, and you find the police, throwing out tear gas. And so the people are really, staying back. My opinion, I think, that they're staying back because of what they believe that when they go out, they get harassed by the police. They don't have that freedom, to exercise their fundamental rights in the country and all that. I think if you look towards that angle, you can attribute the low turnout to things like that. And, every day people listen, they put out their voices on social media, on the rest of the places. And I believe that the government listens. They have their ears everywhere. And
all right, it's time for us to move to the next topic. Flooding has worsened despite the fact that the Nigerian government has spent well over 180 billion in recent time. Over 180 billion has been spent to ensure that flooding becomes a thing of the past, to ensure that our dams are kept safe and made better, and so that the channels for the water passage can be something that becomes successful. However, look at what happened in Borno State, Maiduguri, and the fact that every year upon year, when the flood comes, it's also most times always because the dams are not doing their jobs. I think I want to start with you, Mr. Liu. Billions have been spent. This is not the first time we are hearing of such, where we spend billions and there is little implementation evidence being seen. As this is why we spent this money. This is what we've been able to get out of it. Why are we like this as a people? Why do we have monies allocated for dams? The Oyo Dam is being opened little by little. The floods are coming. NIMET have been warning. Everybody has been talking about this. The rains bring flood, and then the flood will come and affect the people. Why do we have to wait?
Well, it is a natural disaster.
But this happens in other places, and they mitigate.
As much as I want to agree with you, you also have to experience it once, twice. It could beat you again, even with all your defense. You know what happened in New Orleans?
But our defense is weak.
You know what happened in New Orleans?
But our defense.
So the same thing. Currently, now, some parts of Europe too are submerged with water. You know what happened in Dubai? So I agree that this things happen, but that's what I'm saying. We need to keep building.
Are we doing the same things they do there? The same types of defense?
Government have to be proactive.
Are we being proactive?
Natural disaster will beat you. It's natural.
It's not natural disaster. This is what happens every time.
Why am I saying that? It's water. The volume of water, we are having ozone layer depletion. So the volume of water coming now is more. So the more the water, the more the problem for us. Yes, we built before. We don't used to have this, do we? we had those dams in
Flood?
place. Yeah, we don't use that. Long. We don't have this kind of.
In the last 4 or 5 years.
So, but in the
I mean,
I'm talking about maybe 15 years, 10 years ago.
It
wasn't as
in his own
it wasn't as
capacity.
it wasn't as disastrous.
Brutal as this.
It wasn't as brutal as this. I
As that
agree.
was-
So you see now that as we're building our houses, as we're doing that industrialization, there's a company along the road between the Long Bridge here. The day I saw the water surge into their compound, I said, who is the engineer that did this work? He should have predicted that look, water will come and lifted the company high on the floor and create room for the water to pass through. But you see, this is what we're saying. So that's why this money, every year you budget money for this kind of, you preempt, you predict, you look at your statistics, you work with it. So maybe we are missing that.
Okay.
Maybe we are taking this for granted and saying, no, it will not be as disastrous as it was last year. So maybe that's why. But again, we are spending money. And the president too has said, look, go and do dam study, visibility study of all the dams, and let's correct whatever.
But these monies that have been spent so far over time, where is the evidence of the work that has been done?
There is a lot of things that's good. What about servicing those dams? If those dams are not properly serviced with some of this money, don't you think the disaster would have been more than this?
So,
As
these
much as the
billions-
money looks so big in our
billions-
eyes, these dams too are so expensive if you look at the cost. So sometimes don't let us look at the cost or the amount being spent to. We could only do that if we are able to check and say, okay, there is fraud somewhere. But if there's no fraud somewhere and it's well used, I think the government
There's
is free.
no budget implementation paper,
It's according to him or according to us.
according to the story.
So, well, that's another question. But again, if it's well spent, would have had a better situation now. But again, if it's not well spent, I think we need more proof before we begin to discuss that, because I like to delve into how these things are managed. It's not easy to manage a dam.
Nehemiah, let's end with you. On this topic, you've been smiling in the last 30 seconds. You are ready to tear this topic up. 180 billion plus so far with little evidence of positivity.
I really frown at Nigerians, when we have issues plaguing us here in this country. We are quick to compare Nigeria to other countries in the world. The question is, in the last 10 years, what has the government done to our dams? How many dams have the government built? How many dams have the government rehabilitated in the past 10 years? Now we have this issue year in, year out. In the past 5 years, okay, let me just come closer. In the past 2-3 years, tell me how many dams have the government rehabilitated? The president has just inaugurated a committee, to look into this issue of flooding, due to dam collapses here and there and those disasters in the country. A few ministers are part of the committee. Minister of Water Resources, Minister of Finance, and the rest of them. The truth is, now they have acknowledged that there's a problem.
Of course.
No, don't say that. They are going to review.
Because
Because as the last time, the Alo Dam, they said it was collapsed.
Now,
it wasn't collapsed.
Now, if you call for
Things
a
are
review,
okay with the dam.
Why?
It's just the capacity of water that is more.
now why?
So when you say it's broke, the water overflow. The water is more.
Now, why?
So
Why
that's what
are
I'm
you
saying.
calling
It's
for a
natural
review?
disaster.
Why
As
are
a
you
natural
calling
disaster,
for a
water
review?
is more. The volume
And
of water is
setting
more.
setting up a
Setting
committee.
up a committee, it shows that he feels
No.
something should be
Now,
because of cries of people like him, we have to let's set up a committee to look at
So
it.
you are saying the panel is fake?
I'm not saying the panel is fake. I'm saying okay, people are crying. Okay, set up a committee. Please check again.
It's not even
Double
about.
check.
It's not
how
even.
government
See,
is
it's
wrong.
not even about
You
people
double check
crying.
issues.
It's about the disaster that the government is saying
No,
happened.
it's not the disaster that the government is saying is going to happen.
No,
It's
no,
about,
no.
look,
The one
let's
that has
check
happened.
If they, oh, sorry,
Not the one that is
sorry,
going
sorry.
to happen.
If
The one that has happened
that has
already.
happened.
Can
That
you
they are-
come?
Look at
Which
what
is-
happened. Look at what happened to
Which disaster?
Meduguri.
And so
Look
in
at what happened in
Maiduguri-
Adamawa. Look at what happened in
In
these
Taraba,
places.
now hold on. In Meduguri, is it that the dam could not hold water, or the water was more than the dam?
The water was more than the dam.
So are you saying the dam?
Because the
not
dam,
done
it
what-
was not
Are you
done
saying the
much.
dam did not fail you?
Hold on.
Natural disaster is
Hold on,
beyond
hold
you.
on, hold on. There was a report in
There's
Punch.
fire in Greece
Hold on.
now. Fire in Greece.
there was
Fire.
a-
Burning
there-
forest in
during
Greece.
the time
It's natural.
during the time the Meduguri
Yeah.
issue happened,
Yeah.
there was a report in Punch about another dam in Sokoto.
Yeah.
But it was like a warning that that dam, there's a problem with that dam.
The minister
go and fix that dam
the
now.
minister went to those dams
So
and
you
came with a
understand?
report and said these dams are good.
Which one?
The Alo Dam is good. Which dam?
But
People,
the
we
water
take the
over-
negative. We don't
the
even
water-
read when
the
this man
water
says
overflowed.
the president sent people. People went there to those dams and they checked and they said, no, these dams are okay. Now the water is more than the dam. I agree with that. Now look, okay, this water supersede this dam. This dam is too small to hold this volume of water that is coming at this time, at a particular time. It's not my mind building a dam. You have to do a lot. There's a lot of things that, and they've said they will build 2 more dams. It means they are ready to fix this issue.
How sure are we that when these monies are being brought out again?
Because we
We are
have
not
it,
on the
we
same
have, a lot of us have distrust for government. I agree because of government
No,
processes.
government has put distrust in the minds of the people.
Whichever way. You may have distrust and they may put distrust in you. But what I said is this: let's be determined.
All right.
Let's have a will and a way to make the country better
All
for
right,
the
people,
children unborn.
Last words now, Nehemiah. I mean, what's your last words on this topic?
The government should show seriousness.
Agreed.
See, there's a way that the government works, and you don't even need PR. There are some jobs that the government will do. You don't need PR. Some jobs speak for themselves. There are people there. Whatever the government is doing positively in whatever locations, there are people in those locations. Definitely they are going to put it out. Oh, we thank the government for doing this for us. We thank the government for doing that for us. We want to see these works being put in place. When enough of talking, we are going to do.
Committees.
We want to see the do.
All right, there you have it. That's how we're wrapping up today. We join the curtains there. Interesting time it has been. If you are just joining us, you've missed a lot. You can rewind. Thank God it's online, so you can still enjoy it. Thank you very much for being a part of this package. Like I always say, we are here because you are there. Very thank you for my guests, Nehemiah also and Mr. Aliu Adekunle, for being a part of this program today. Very thank you to you, the viewer, because if you aren't there, we definitely would not be here. Very big thank you to the production crew for making this happen, pressing the right buttons and moving the right cameras. The weekend begins tomorrow, first weekend in the month of October. Don't be wicked by the weekend.